Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, everyone, right here, Fantasy Life on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. Excited to have you with us for another day, getting you ready for Week 5 and Thursday Night Football tonight. Who is going to be playing for the San Francisco 49ers? We do not know, but at least it's football, Adam, and that's what we love because we'll take anything. But yeah, it's going to be a great day going through some rankings, risers and fallers, lots of injury news as well. How you doing? You got who did you get last night? Not Amari, Michael Carter in our league.
Yeah, look, I have not really spent a lot of money in Fab so far this year, but I have a few teams that are absolutely in shambles this week between some of my top players on bye, injuries. So I did have to spend some money more than I would have liked to. And it's funny because like I see a lot of people like, oh, I can't believe this much money was spent on this guy. And I've always said this about, Fab and spending money to pick up players. It's really difficult to give advice because every single league is so different. Each team is different. So you always see these articles, people say, oh, 10 to 15%, but it's different. In some cases, you don't need that player as badly. You can go less. And others, you're desperate and you have to go way more. So I was just giving you, we have 2 Greenwich Street Tavern leagues, so 2 leagues at 12. And the price disparity between some of the players that went in the league that Kendall and I are in and the other were pretty vast. So that's why it's always difficult giving advice, trying to figure out how much you should spend because it's different for everyone. Again, this is a week where I think a lot of people are putting out bad lineups and you have no choice just because of all the injuries and players on bye, and we only have 4 teams on bye, but like I know I have one league where I had Drake London and Romeo Dunze on bye, so that's like 2 of my top 3 receivers, and that's a league where we have 3 receivers and 2 flex spots, so you're digging deep, and then you got other guys hurt, other guys sitting out this week, so it's going to be a challenging week. What you just hope is you can escape with the win or put up enough points that you're not embarrassed.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Just not be embarrassed. I mean, some of the running backs that I have to put out there this week, Adam, are awful. But you said it. If you had to spend money yesterday or going into today, and you're waking up and you're checking all your waiver wire claims, I hope all your dreams came true because spending $312 on a one Darius Slayton was not on my bingo card, Adam. Let's just say that we spent the same amount of money. Look, 312 for me, 312 for you, for Michael Carter. There we go.
Yeah, that's kind of embarrassing to go that high, but I was desperate. I have Bucky Irving
Yes.
and Isaiah Pacheco. Like my running backs are sad. I don't know how that team is 3-1. Well, I do have Puka, but I also have CeeDee Lamb out. I lost Braylon Allen. I lost Cedric Tillman, and I know they're like, oh, what's the big deal about those guys? Well, when you have 20 roster spots and the buys are coming, you need your depth. So I have nothing right now. So I'm just hoping to survive, hoping that Michael Carter has a good game, hoping to get CeeDee Lamb back. But, yeah, there's some situations where your team is just in bad shape right now. So I said it. Yeah, I think there's going to be some embarrassing lineups put out there this week, especially in these deeper leagues.
Yeah, I'm going to have one for sure. You guys can send us yours at KaVontae17 at Adam Ronis. It's true. I mean, I can't sit here and pretend like, oh, my teams look great. They look, some of them look awful. I'm right now, before we started the show, I was looking at 3 free agents for the FFC, FFPC, I can't remember which one, championship to see if I need to pick up CJ Stroud or Spencer Rattler. Like, that's disgusting. No one should be in that spot.
Yeah, look, it's unfortunate, though. It's going to happen, and you hate that it happens this early in the year, but unfortunately, there's nothing you could do at this point, right? You just have to hope that fill in gets you enough points to get a victory. Remember, too, that a lot of people are dealing with similar situations.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't have someone on bye or a couple of injuries, then, again, you're just fortunate right now, and more than likely, it's going to strike you at some point.
Well, let's go through some of the news that we got yesterday. We had a lot during the show, and then we had a lot more once we logged off the show for the day. So we've got a lot to get to. Appreciate, as always, everyone hanging out with us. SXM20 gets you that 20% off any Tier 1 or Tier 2 subscription. That's at fantasylife.com. So if you've been looking at that website, you're like, oh, man, maybe I should do it. Maybe I shouldn't. Use that code, SXM20, and gets you 20% off. For tonight, I don't know. I don't know who the 49ers are putting out there, but it's going to be fun or interesting to watch. It might be one of those things where you say, is that a real person? Is that someone that we're going with? But Brock Purdy, Jauan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, all three ruled out for the 49ers Rams game. To say that the 49ers are going to be shorthanded is beyond an understatement. So you've got a healthy Christian McCaffrey. You've got Mac Jones coming in. You've got Kendrick Bourne, Jake Tungus, I believe is how you say it. I will get it right eventually because we're going to have to keep talking about
Tonjes,
him.
right?
Tongus?
Tonjes.
What did I? Tungus? Tongus? Tongus? All right, sure. George Kittle, please come back. We can't keep doing this, Adam.
We need him back next week. That's when he's eligible
No
to
kidding.
return, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
Hello.
week 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so we need him
Yes.
back next week.
Yeah, no kidding. So I don't know, Adam. At some point, I'm looking at Brian Robinson Jr. and thinking that he is going to have to be involved because this is just to not have Jauan Jennings, two of your to not have two of your top receivers in this game. You've got Kendrick Bourne, Demarcus Robinson, Sky Moore is next up. Maybe we see a little Marquez Valdez-Scantling, but Brian Robinson Jr., Christian McCaffrey, obviously CMC is going to get his, but I can't imagine that they're not going to try and get Brian Robinson involved because they have to.
Yeah, you could see him, especially on a short week. Look, we've seen Christian McCaffrey get massive workloads. And again, it is insane that almost every 49ers player is injured except Christian McCaffrey. He's the healthiest one, the model of health. So that's when you know things are going crazy this year. So, yeah, I think you could see him maybe involved in the mix. Obviously, Demarcus Robinson is second game back, Kendrick Bourne as well. And, those players might be in your starting lineup in deeper formats. They were on my list of bids. They were towards the bottom, so I didn't get any of them. But there probably would have been a situation where I might have started them had I gotten them. Again, not saying they're great starts, but someone has to catch the football tonight.
Someone has to. So Christian McCaffrey, here we are speaking good things. Thankfully, he stayed healthy. But yeah, I don't it's crazy. This is why I've also said I know in some, not deep formats like Warren, the 20 rounds, the ton of flex players that I think you could look at Matthew Stafford as someone to start tonight. I think that the Rams passing game could test the 49ers defense. I know they have not allowed more than 186 pass yards in a game so far this season, but I think this is a really tough test between these two. The Rams have averaged 265.7 pass yards behind it's Matthew Stafford. We obviously know Puka Nacua is going to get his, Devontae Adams as well. But I really do. If you're in a tough spot, if you had maybe a Brock Purdy and you're looking around on the waiver wire, I'm interested in this. I think I might bet on the Rams passing game here.
Yeah, for sure. I think the only thing you worry about, obviously, is game script, right?
Yeah.
Could this game turn into a blowout? And, those are always tough to predict because on paper, it looks like Rams favored by 8.5. It is a divisional game.
Wow,
and
8.5?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean,
yeah, makes sense.
That's what it has to be. I mean, Rams are in a good spot here. They should win this game. But we know on a short week, divisional game, things can happen. But that's the only concern that you have for some of the Rams players. What's the game script going to be? Are they going to be up big? But you really can't worry about that with a lot of your stud players.
Yeah, and I saw a question here earlier again at Valenzuela 17 at Adam Ronis. And we were kind of mentioning this yesterday about these three players for the weeks to come. I honestly looked into it, Adam, and I really don't know, statuses. This is a weird week because this is an early game. I think we would be talking about this differently if they were able to get a full week of practice, if it came to a Friday and maybe they were limited. So I would just say this, based on all the quarterback injuries that we've had throughout the first few weeks of this season, just hang on to whatever backup you have if you have Brock Purdy, just in case the toe injury. You never know. I mean, it seems like something that if it's bothering him in one game, the next week they want to be careful and make sure that he doesn't aggravate it even more. So if you have Brock Purdy, just keep your backups. And Jauan Jennings, his was that shot to the ribs that we saw. It's the ankle and rib injuries that he's dealing with, and then Pearsall is the knee injury. So it's going to be the same. I think that's an easy answer, Adam, but that's the best that I can give right now because I'm unsure statuses from here on out. At least they'll get a little bit bigger of a rest because it's Thursday night football, but always have, if we've seen these injuries start popping up with these guys, just always have your backups ready.
Yeah, that's where we are right now. It's been a rough start with injuries. And yeah, I mean, Pearsall, what was it, like an MCL? So, I mean, he could be out multiple weeks, which stinks because I have him in quite a few leagues. So, hate seeing that. I mean, Jennings has just had multiple injuries, missed a lot of time already. So, yeah, this is a 49ers team that's really banged up. They're fortunate they got off to the 3-0 start, lost last week. Again, not a good spot for them here tonight. Yeah. Then next week, they're at Tampa. Whoa, that's going to be. I mean, they're banged up too, but tough. And then they got Atlanta at the Texans at the Giants.
I've got Mac Jones, by the way, QB 27.
Who do you have at 27?
No, I don't know. I don't.
I didn't hear. No, who do you have at 27?
The 49ers quarterback.
Who is that?
Get out of here. It is. See, I'm on top of it. You're not going to get me with that.
I'm going to get you once. I'm telling you right now.
Nah, I think I'm pretty locked in,
watch.
but I do. Okay, go ahead and try. Yeah, QB 27. I might move him up a little bit. I see consensus he's at 24, but I just don't like these injuries, Adam. I do not like the injuries and the weapons that he is going to have tonight. So we'll keep breaking down that game. But again, you're going to be without Brock Purdy. You're going to be without Jauan Jennings, and you're going to be without Ricky Pearsall because we can't have nice things here. More injury news, Adam. Yesterday, Trey Benson, we were talking about this on the show. They said, don't worry about it, Trey Benson. It's going to be just fine. What did we get hours later? Trey Benson now, he's on IR. So he is going to miss a minimum of 4 games. Adam Schefter reported that yesterday. He actually underwent you want to say it?
Arthroscopic.
There we go. Surgery on it's early. Listen, it's early. Surgery on his meniscus and is now expected to be sidelined 4 to 6 weeks. So IR is for, the 4 games minimum, but it sounds like the timeline could be longer depending on how this rehab looks and everything else. So this one was surprising. I don't think anyone expected Trey Benson to go down and be down for that long, especially get a stint on the IR. So now it is Amari DiMercato, Michael Carter, who we talked about yesterday, and I want to bring up Bam Knight just in case we think that it's going to be somewhat of a committee. We just don't know. That's one of these things, Adam, where we haven't really seen this, where you get Trey Benson down, you get James Conner down. So I think we're going to be learning as the game unfolds this weekend what that could look like. But now you've got those 3. I think you can look at it as a 2 to 3-way committee in Arizona. Last weekend, Amari DiMercato was the RB2. He handled the pass. He was the passing down back behind Benson. And then Michael Carter played 1 snap on the final drive. Bam Knight didn't play, obviously. So I don't know. I don't want to recommend avoiding the backfield. I did pick up Michael Carter in some spots because you know that they're just going to have to get all these guys involved. But what a blow to the Arizona Cardinals running backs.
Yeah, it's easy to say, just avoid that backfield. Well, when you're playing leagues with 20 roster spots, you can't. You need players in your starting lineup. So, yeah, look, I bid on if DiMercato was rostered in most of the leagues I was in. Carter wasn't, so I did bid on him. Again, I was aggressive in a couple leagues because I'm hurting at running back. Others, I put in a lesser bid and didn't get him.
Yeah,
we don't know how it's going to play out. Carter did say when he was speaking to reporters that he is starting. Take that for what it's worth, but even if you're the starter, it doesn't mean you're going to get everything. You're just on the field for the first play. We did see Carter last year in Week 18 play a significant role. So that's my guess, but I think both guys can be used if you're desperate. Again, it's not the ideal situation. Connor actually wasn't putting up big numbers, yards per carry wise. Yeah. They've had trouble running the football, and you have Kyler Murray there as well. So, again, some of us are in desperate spots where we're going to have to play these running backs this week just because of everything that's going on. So, I had Carter with the slight edge because DiMercato was on a lot of rosters in leagues that I was in.
I mean, he was the waiver wire priority last week if Trey Benson wasn't there. So it's going to be interesting, and I'm with you. I'm starting Michael Carter in a couple of leagues, and that's just where we have to go. But I will say, if you look at our rankings at fantasylife.com, of course, Trey Benson on IR, so you're not going to see him there anymore. RB 38 for DiMercato. I'm going to move Michael Carter probably closer to, wow, maybe I'll put him ahead of DiMercato, but right now maybe 37, 36 for both of them. They're going to be back to back is really what it's going to look like.
Yeah, I think no one really knows. I'd probably put them a little higher, but because you probably have other running backs in that range where we know their role is not going to be significant. But yeah, this is a tough week for sure. The first really tough week, I'd say, we really haven't had major issues, and then this week it's just so many guys are out, and yeah, like throughout the show we were getting injuries, and then the Benson one occurred after the show. I was like, this is insane. Like,
I know,
will it stop?
Nuts. It
But
was really
we always get a week like that or two every
we
single
do.
year. So
We're
it's
gonna get through it.
unfortunate, but we just have to deal with it, and we hope that it gets better.
The Titans are number 4 in most fantasy points allowed to opposing running backs. So that's good if we want to hang our hat on that.
Oh yeah, look, if
Yeah.
there's any week, I mean,
I mean, it's
we
not bad.
definitely we definitely got the right week to plug these guys in, and now we got to hope that they go perform.
Go
So
get it. Go get it. 3
I'm definitely rooting for Carter to be the guy based on
it's cuz you have him.
I think I have him. Did I get him in 2 leagues? I know I got him in
Now
one. I
you
think
got
I
him in
got him in two.
GST. Yeah.
Actually,
I got him in
one I
2.
got him, and I don't know if I can play him. So I'm thinking, like,
What?
why did I bid
Oh,
so high?
you're
Hold on,
that
let
guy?
me.
You took him from someone that needed him and you can't even play him?
Well, it depends. I
Oh,
have some.
boo.
I spent actually so I spent 132. The runner up was 128. So I was
I
kind of
would
putting a like, all right, I'll probably won't
Oh
get
my
him.
gosh,
See,
I'd be
again, this is
sick.
my point though with Fab. It's just you don't know. So I got him for 132 in one league, over 300 in another. In another league, he went for 387. So you see how it's all over the place. So you can tell someone, yeah, go 10 to 15%, and he could go for less, and they'll look at you like, why'd you tell me to spend so much? Or they'll be like, I wasn't even close. He went for
Yeah.
34%. Why'd you tell me 10 to 15? That's why I always said in the fantasy sports, to me, that's the most difficult advice to give out is how much to spend, because there's so much that goes into it. Your league, how aggressive is the league? How much money do people have left? Like, I always look at how much money people have left. I was surprised.
Oh
In
yeah.
some of my leagues, people like I have most of my leagues are 1,000. A lot of people in the high 900s. There's
Yeah.
one person in our GST league that hasn't spent $1 yet.
It was almost me, Adam. Listen, when you get beat out by these bids by $1 or 2, there's nothing you can do. But I do agree that we'll always try and give our best advice with just money to spend, fab to spend. But ultimately, you're gonna know your league better than us.
You
So,
know how much Slayton went for in this league? 561.
oh, that makes me feel way better than my
But the
312.
runner up was 133
What was the runner up in ours?
for Slayton.
Slayton. Actually,
I
if
think
it's bad,
you
I don't
did
want to know.
you did go really
I
high.
over, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I went probably.
I went higher than I wanted to be totally honest. But
Yeah, I
that's what
think
you
I
have to
went
do.
I was 100 too high, I think, on Carter. But again,
That's
I was desperate,
surprising.
and I don't like.
Yeah,
I know that some people will be very aggressive. I figured
definitely.
there would be a few, so I was like, look, I am in bad shape here. I cannot mess around. I need this guy, and you hope it works out. But
Let's
Slayton
hope.
went for I was the runner up at 138. You
Okay.
went 312.
That's okay. I needed it bad.
And I went 312 for Carter. You were the runner up at 205. We
Yeah.
both were the highest. And then Tucker went for 222. I was the runner up at 192.
Oh, nice. Okay, that one was closer. Listen, Michael Carter, we are rooting for you. And yeah, the Tennessee Titans, three running backs this season have scored at least 14.8 PPR points against them. So maybe Michael Carter, and let's add in Amari DiMercado can make it more here. So we've got a lot more news to get to, and I know that we are jumping into week 5. So I want to go through rankings, risers, and fallers. At least we have good news. Maybe looking at Justin Fields and his matchup for the week. Also want to talk about our expectations for guys that are stepping into bigger roles now. Jalen Waddle, more specifically, what David Montgomery will look like going up against the Bengals. We're going to talk about them and many more players here coming up next. What a week, Adam. What a day getting everyone ready for week 5 in the NFL, answering as many questions as we can throughout the show too. I'm sure you have them because I've been questioning all my decisions here this past couple days, Adam, for all my fantasy moves at Valenzuela 17 at Adam Ronis over there on X if you have them. And then we'll also be opening up the phone lines closer to that fantasy life water cooler. All the rankings are updated. Took a long, Adam, I don't know, took a long time. So I'm going to go through it. This is probably one of those weeks where I'm going to go through multiple times a day and just keep moving guys around and see where I like them, where they're able to fall in the rankings here. But we've got a lot of rankings risers and a lot of rankings fallers heading into the week. And so I wanted to start with actually I think we should start positively. You want some good
We have
positive.
positives this week?
Yeah. I mean, we
Oh,
have at
okay.
least rankings risers, and hopefully they're able to perform for us, because if not, we're going to come here on an overreaction Monday and freak out. But I will say, Justin Fields is a riser because we're picking on your Dallas Cowboys.
So I said we're being positive here. Now Now you're gonna
That's a
throw my team under
positive.
the
Well, oh
bus?
my gosh,
What are
come
we
on. You
doing?
come on. You believe that too. Come on, get it together here. Justin Fields, top 6 in week 5 going up against the Dallas Cowboys. He has given us 29.5, 27.2 fantasy points in his 2 complete starts for 2025, and in those games, he has averaged 222 yards, 1 touchdown through the air, and those are good actually. Those are above his career averages. When we look at him, we know what he's going to bring us on the ground, and yes, I do think it is positive that he is playing the Dallas Cowboys because fantasy managers for Fields know that he's probably going to give you a pretty good day.
Yeah, the Fields has had one bad game against Buffalo. He left that game early with the concussion, so he might have still finished with a decent day. But last week it was a slow start, but at the end of the day, you were happy with the fantasy production he gives you. And that's kind of the story of Justin Fields. But let's look at this Cowboys defense. So week 1, only 152 passing yards to Jalen Hurts because, they're allergic to passing the ball, but he did rush for 62 yards and 2 touchdowns, which Justin Fields is certainly capable of. Russell Wilson, now on the bench, 450 yards and 3 passing touchdowns. Caleb Williams, his get-right game, 298 and 4 touchdowns, and Jordan Love, 337 and 3 touchdowns. They've allowed the most fantasy points to the quarterback position. So, yes, Justin Fields in good shape, and maybe the Jets actually win a game, too. They've been a little unlucky. They're 0-4. You could easily see them being 2-2. They beat themselves last week with those turnovers. So, yeah, Justin Fields in a good spot this week. So, if you have him, I know I do in several leagues, he's in my starting lineup.
Yeah, I mean you're feeling good about it. What I saw the team totals like 23, 22 and a half for this one for the Jet side. I think that's the 12th highest. And so Matthew Friedman, if you go to fantasylife.com, he's got the NFL betting game model from Friedman, and you should really go and check that out. But he really likes them much more in this game, the Jets. Sorry to say that, but I like the Xfinity best score. The potential ceiling that he has is 33 fantasy points. The median is sitting there at 19.2, which is actually could be 4th in the projections here. So this is a smash for Justin Fields. Like I said, he moved up from me to I believe he's my QB5 actually, consensus QB6 on the week. So yeah, you really like him. This is a good one. Woo! See, we're positive here. Look at us.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah, look, we said it before the year with Fields. Like, whenever he's the starting quarterback, he's going to finish as a QB1. And the path to get there will drive you nuts at times. Like, if you watch the entire game with Fields, you're going to be like, what is he doing? I can't believe this. But, and he could have had a better day last week because that Garrett Wilson offensive pass interference was a very questionable call. I didn't think it should have been called. So that could have been 2 passing touchdowns. He did salvage his day late. That touchdown to Wilson also came late in the game. But again, 81 rushing yards. And I wonder, too, because I didn't think he was that aggressive running the football last week. And I don't know if that was because he was coming off the concussion, because even that touchdown run, that was not a designed run. He kind of scrambled, went to the opposite side, and then found some daylight and scored on a 43-yard run. But we did see week 1, 12 rushing attempts. So especially in this game, if the pace can stay a little high, Dallas likes to push the pace. Maybe Fields, runs 10 to 12 times. And if he does that,
that'd be nice.
Yeah. I mean, look, he didn't even finish the Buffalo game, and he had 49 yards rushing. He had 48 week 1, and he had 81 last week. Like, he's almost, and I said it before the year, he's averaging 50 rushing yards per game. So if he plays the full season, he's going to put up insane rushing yards. He might wind up, especially if Lamar Jackson misses a couple weeks, Jaden Daniels already missed a couple, he might lead the NFL in rushing for quarterbacks.
Yeah. I mean, that's why we always said he was a cheat code. You're not drafting him for like him being a passer, right? That's never anything. We know he's not going to be this prolific passer, but Justin Fields and what he can bring to you on the ground is a cheat code for fantasy. So that's why every single draft I was in, I was seeing where he was at, but he also leads all quarterbacks with at least 100 snaps in designed rush rate. So he's sitting there at 19% and his scramble rate is at 13%. So yeah, it's been looking good for Justin Fields. So he's definitely an upgrade. One more, just let me throw out one more quarterback here actually, because I saw him, Jared Goff, and I didn't really notice how big of a jump he was going to have. But now that all of our rankings are updated going into this morning, Jared Goff, for me, QB9. Might move him back to 10, could see him at 11, but we're picking on a really bad Bengals team. I mean, this Bengals team might be just done for. And that's so bad to say because we have such good fantasy assets on this team. But Jared Goff, to me, they have the highest team total on the slate at 30 points. The last time I looked, 10.5 point favorites over the Bengals. And yeah, Cincinnati has given up the fourth largest boost to fantasy quarterbacks at 4.2 points per game. And I think, with the Lions opening up as heavy favorites, I think he's a low end QB1 this week. So you can definitely look at him.
Yeah, the Bengals have also been brutal against running backs, second most fantasy points to the running back position. So this seems like a
Nice.
week you have any Lions, you're likely going to use them in this situation. And for Goff, you just hope that it's just not all rushing touchdowns to the running backs. You hope that he can put up, multiple touchdowns, 250. I think you would take that.
Dacker Fields from Jacob here. Appreciate you listening in, Jacob, but I would go Fields. I actually have Dak 12, QB 12 for me this week.
Yeah, I would go Fields too.
Yeah.
Although, Dak leads the NFL in passing yards.
You would go Dak over Fields?
No, I would go Fields,
Okay.
but I'm saying Dak has played very well. Again, the fantasy
Yes.
numbers haven't been there because of that week one, and he finally had his big. I guess the thing you worry about with Dallas too, they are coming off a Sunday night emotional. You can't say win or loss because it was a tie,
It's so
but it's
stupid.
overtime. So you played an
Yeah.
overtime game, and now you're going on the road, and they've played 2 overtime games this year already. So you're on the field a lot. So you do worry about that. I mean, the Jets do have a short week. They played Monday, but they are home. So
And KaVontae Turpin
yeah,
might not be
of
out there
course. Yeah,
naturally.
he's got a
One of the
foot
guys that
injury.
we picked up, but he
Like I've said,
just
how many times do I say on Wednesday we found out all these injuries, and boy, did we find out yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday was I think almost the whole show was just like, you want another update? Do you want another one? How about another update? But yeah, so KaVontae Turpin could miss Sunday's game against the Jets with a foot injury, one that obviously he suffered in Dallas in that tie game against the Green Bay Packers. So we got that news during Wednesday's media viewing period. So he was not present out there. And right now, if you have him, just be thinking you can't play him. I read that they're not thinking that he will land on IR, but where have we heard that before?
Many times.
Every day we hear that. So definitely one that you just want to pay attention to, especially in those deeper formats if you're looking to play him. And that does bring me just to finish out with this game. But you did mention the running backs for the Lions, David Montgomery, RB19 this week. And I know that you're going to look back. He did not give you anything last week. You might as well have started Jaylen Warren because he gave you 1.9 in that game last week. David Montgomery did. So he does climb RB19 going up against the Bengals because like you said, he is in a fantastic spot. Again, they have really, really good team total. Lions are 10.5 point favorites and the Bengals provide a 6.1 boost, which is fifth in the NFL to opposing running backs. So the Xfinity best, I'm hoping we get the best projections here. The ceiling is 27.3 fantasy points. The median sitting at 11.8. Floor is 5.3, but I do think he upgrades. He's that mid-range. If you want to say high-end RB2, I think you could go that far.
Yes, last week Montgomery was on my bench. I didn't care that he was coming off a massive performance, but it was the Cleveland Browns defense. This week, he is in my lineup, so I will be starting him. It's a great matchup, as I said before. Bengals second most fantasy points allowed to the running back position. So good chance that Montgomery gets a touchdown, which he usually needs in fantasy because we're not going to get much involvement in the passing game, but good chance he finds the end zone this week.
Jaxson Dart or CJ Stroud from LA Bleeds Blue. Looks like a Dodgers fan. Nice.
Then I'm not helping him.
Stop. They
Just
won that
kidding.
game last night.
I will be
Come on.
rooting for them against the Phillies.
That's going to be that's going to be a fun one. That's going to be so fun. I've got Jaxson Dart higher.
Who was the other Stroud?
Stroud.
Yeah, I would go Dart, the running ability. Look, Stroud is in a good spot, believe it or not, at Baltimore just because of the injuries they have on the defensive side of the football, but it's still not a good passing offense. So
no, you don't love it.
We'll go with Dart. He can run. It's the Saints. So yeah, we'll go with Dart.
Might be the last time we're saying that too, because it gets a little bit difficult for Jaxson Dart and company, but he is definitely one where I have him at, I'm nervous about it. I might move him back. I might move him down a little bit, but I have him at QB 14. Again, you like him going up against the Saints though. So that's where I've got Jaxson Dart. CJ Stroud, listen, I was just saying at the beginning of the show that maybe I'm looking at picking up CJ Stroud because this Baltimore Ravens defense is, it's pretty banged up here, Adam. Where would
really
you
banged up.
Where would you put CJ Stroud? Because I know it's usually, if you're looking at CJ Stroud, that means you're probably looking among other quarterbacks like Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, Bryce Young, Trevor Lawrence. I've got him right in the middle. I like Sam Darnold a little bit more this weekend. Geno Smith might just be a wild card, and I might have to stop recommending him because he just hasn't looked very good getting you fantasy points going up against the Indianapolis Colts. But I've got CJ Stroud actually QB 18 this week. I think it might be the first time he's cracked my top 20.
Yeah, which goes to show you that it's still a little dicey. But again, we are in a challenging week, and the matchup with all the injuries they have on defense, probably the best you're going to get from Stroud is what you saw last week, which was like 233 and 2 touchdowns. And some weeks you'll take that.
Yeah, this week you might be taking that. So I'm
especially
with
if you have
there.
Lamar Jackson.
Oh my gosh! Remember when I spent money on Jake Browning? Yeah.
Yes.
How's that going? You can drop him. Go ahead.
Yeah,
you don't.
I went
why
aggressive for Browning in a super
too.
flex, and I was like, because I had Burrow, and now I'm like, maybe it was not a bad thing to lose him.
I don't know. I can't keep doing it.
It can't get worse though for Browning, right?
You stole my favorite line where they do show us that it can actually get worse. They have said that they are sticking with him, but at this point, who are you going to put back there? I've seen people say like, let's get a veteran quarterback in there, but that offensive line is so bad.
Yeah,
it's just, what are they going to do?
Yeah, it's pretty bad right now. He's got 1 touchdown pass the last 2 games. I mean, again, at Minnesota, at Denver, not easy, but again, tough matchup this week against Detroit.
When does it get easier for them though? Who's after Detroit?
Packers, I think. Right? Wasn't it the Packers? Yes.
Good.
Yeah, the Packers. Then they get the Steelers, Jets, Bears, Steelers.
Right. So maybe
there's hope there.
In 3 weeks, we'll say nice things about Jake Browning. We knew, hey, listen, this was the one thing though, when you picked him up, you knew it was going to be a tough schedule for him to start.
But how about this? So they face the Packers, then they're the Thursday night game against the Steelers at home. So,
gosh, what do we do to deserve these things?
Well, obviously they were looking to put Burrow in prime time. I'm sure there'll be games late in the year where they got to get flexed out.
How many more Dolphins primetime games do we have to watch? I think we still have 2 left.
Really?
They had 5 or something crazy like that.
But I don't understand that because we all thought they were going to be pretty bad.
I know. I didn't understand it either. It's
weird. They have a primetime game against the Ravens October 30th. That's a Thursday night game, so that can't even be flexed.
Yuck. I don't know what we did to deserve that, but
and then they have they're overseas against the Commanders.
Oh, that could
November
be
16th,
fun.
9:30 a.m. game.
Which international game is that one?
I do not know offhand.
Should we go?
Let's go.
Ticket? Okay, perfect. What time? Let's see the time
difference
of what time
Spain.
we have to.
In Spain. Okay,
that'd be lovely, actually.
I've been to Barcelona.
Nice. Oh, nice. I haven't. It looks really nice. Maybe we can. We'll just put it in the budget.
This is in Madrid,
What time would we have to wake up to do this show if we were in Madrid? Any Madrid listeners? You can call it. They might be asleep. I'm unsure what the time difference is here. Anyway, back on track. We're gonna keep going here. I've got
4:39 p.m. there.
Oh,
they're ahead of us. So.
That's doable.
Oh yeah, it's prime time. I had more energy at that time.
There we go. 4:39 p.m. in Madrid. We could totally do this show. All right, we'll look into tickets. Anyways, big questions for Week 5. I do want to figure out what this Ravens team looks like with Cooper Rush going into this weekend. How big of a downgrade is everyone else? All those pass catchers. Expectations for Dillon, Gabriel as well. We're gonna break down the biggest Week 5 questions here coming up next. Oh, we've got you covered right here. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam, Ronis with you on this Thursday. I've got my Folgers coffee. You got a cup of coffee? I know it's not Folgers.
I do, in my fantasy life mug.
Stop. I'm always so jealous of that cup because I don't even know where you got that cup, but I don't have it and I'm jealous.
We had some event last year at MetLife, so they brought some.
The winner, the giveaway thing. That was a cool. It was a cool event.
Yeah, RG3 was there throwing footballs to Matthew Berry and Lawrence Jackson and everyone.
Oh my gosh! Cool. Well, I'm jealous. Yeah, I see you drink out of that mug all the time, and I'm like, I know he's doing this to make me.
Oh no, I wasn't.
And it works. And it works every time.
It's just a nice mug. I like drinking my coffee.
Shout out to Folgers. There's no
Folgers in it. No.
Whatever. Get out of here. There's I think Taylor Swift's new album. I know you had that circled on the.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
I think you're going to. I think she's renting out theaters that you can go listen to. Should I get you a ticket?
Oh, you know what? I did see that. That popped up on my feed because you know how
Yes,
I
it popped up
the
on
you know
mine
how I get
too.
those
Yes.
free movie
Oh,
passes to like preview, and that popped up, and I'm like, what is this? And it was
interesting.
like an advanced screening or something.
Oh,
I was like, yeah, I'm
fun.
not going to this
Oh, I
garbage.
think you definitely bought at
No,
least
I
2
did not.
tickets, maybe multi-day event. I bet those are all sold out. There's no way. What do you do though in a movie theater listening to an album though? What do you think is playing on the screen?
I
Someone
don't
let us
know.
know.
Why don't you
Someone let
go
us
and
know.
find out?
I know some nah, I'm okay. I know I'm gonna watch. There's some good baseball games tonight. Someone
Well,
with a
today,
daughter though, I
yeah.
know is listening. So you let us know if you're going to listen to Taylor Swift. Anyways, that's dropping tonight. I know Adam's had that circled on his calendar for a really long time here.
Can't wait.
Um, Something that we didn't have circled on our calendar was Cooper Rush getting the start for the Baltimore Ravens. You see what I did there? Look at that. Oh my gosh. We're locked in. We're locked in, Adam. Cooper Rush. I think the biggest question is, can he keep the Ravens afloat in this game? I mean, how much of a downgrade is Cooper Rush going into this? Especially for the wide receivers, right? Zay Flowers, I know that you talked about it in the offseason. You weren't as high on Zay Flowers, but he's had a solid start to the season here. Rashad Bateman, DeAndre Hopkins, I don't think a lot of people were starting, but how much of a downgrade is everyone, Derrick Henry included?
Well, we've seen Cooper Rush come in and perform okay. So the thing that's weird though is that it's a completely different offense. Usually, when you have like that mobile quarterback, you have one behind him that you don't have to change the offense that much. But in this case, they're completely different. Cooper Rush is not going to give you anything on the ground. So, look, I think if you have Zay Flowers, you're starting him. I was surprised at the volume he's been getting, and also so the premise with Zay Flowers is like, well, the Ravens are not going to be this high passing offense, and the problem is that their defense has been so bad, they've kind of been in shootouts, which I did not expect.
Mm-hmm.
And then Flowers has had really one down game, but besides that, he's had at least 8 targets in 3 of the 4 games. So it was never about the talent with Zay Flowers; it was the usage in this offense, and obviously the defense has been so bad that they've had to pass more. I mean, they've put up 40, 41, 30, and then 20 points last week. So they've had to score a lot. Look, if you have Flowers this week, you're going to play him, right? We just talk about all
Yeah.
the injuries. Like, I can't see many scenarios where you go, well, I have so many good players. I can bench Flowers this week. Maybe in a 10-team league, sure. But I think in most other leagues, you're going to have to play him. With Derrick Henry, they're probably going to lean on him more. You just got to hope that they don't load up the box and say, all right, well, we're going to take Henry out. You got to beat us with the pass. I think Henry's been a disappointment so far. There's no
For
question
sure.
about it. The fumbles. The other thing is that he's not on the field a lot when they are trailing. And Texans still are slight favorites. It's not like the Texans have been great. They're good defensively, but their
Yeah.
offense has been pretty bad. So you're going to start Henry as well.
Yeah, the point of him not being used on passing downs or rarely used in those situations on pass downs has really that's what makes it so volatile for Derrick Henry week to week with the consistency. So you've seen Justice Hill. I actually think Justice Hill was a solid pickup this week if you were able to get him. I wrote him up, fantasylife.com. But yeah, I think he's still a low end for me. He's still a low end RB1, but it's crazy to say game script dependent with someone like Derrick Henry, but that might be where we're at. But
Hey,
if
look
you
at
have him
look at
within,
these
you're still playing
snaps.
him.
Snap
Yeah.
percentage for Derrick Henry: 57%, 61%, 49%, 39%.
Wow.
You have a running back that you took in round two that's played less than 50% of the snaps the last
Crazy.
2 games.
It's crazy. So I do think man, Zay Flowers, again, I didn't really know where to put him though. I still have him wide receiver 14 this week. Cause it got to a point where I said, can I really rank him lower than some of these other guys? I don't know.
You
I
really
might move it.
can't.
I might move it, but
You can probably move him
like,
down a few spots, but like I just don't see. You get to the point where either the receivers have tough matchups or they're not. Their offense have concerns.
yeah.
So yeah, if you have them, you're pretty much playing them at this point, I think.
Yep. I would agree with that. We've got more questions that I want to ask you. Expectations for Dillon Gabriel and what that offense is going to look like as a whole. Miami's offense too, without Tyreek Hill, who is going to step up. Besides, we know that it's going to be Jalen Waddle, and he really jumped up in our rankings. But who else could be involved in this offense? We're going to go through more of those big questions for Week 5 here coming up next. At Valenzuela 17, at Adam Ronis over there on X. If you have any questions for us at all heading into week 5, make sure you send them our way. We'll open up the phone lines as well, 888-963-2682, or you can press that new call-in button if you are on the Sirius XM app. Fantasy Life right here on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio, answering some of the bigger questions that we have heading into week 5 here, Adam. Another quarterback coming in for the Joe Flacco, well, now not Joe Flacco led Browns, but the Cleveland Browns. They get to do this yet again. Dillon Gabriel getting the start because the Joe Flacco era is over, and I'm kind of sad about it, but they need to start to try to win. So I think the big question is the same that we're going to ask for any quarterback coming in to get these starts, is what the expectations are. I don't think, this offense has been so bad that it's Jerry Jeudy. Cedric Tillman is now going to be out for multiple weeks. You were probably playing those guys, but I don't know, I don't know what this really does look like. I think you have to downgrade the whole, Cleveland, all of Cleveland's wide receivers. You're playing against Minnesota, which is going to be a tough spot for anyone. And it's an international game. There's a lot going up against Dillon Gabriel in this one, but I like the quote that he had. He had a quote yesterday saying, you don't really get to pick when you start, you just have to take advantage of the opportunity. But yeah, it's just going to be a tough go. Jerry Jeudy's off to a slow start. What are your expectations in this one?
Well, they're low. I don't expect much here. Obviously, this is a very tough spot to make your first start against this Vikings defense. So Flacco, again, has not been good. He really hasn't. And the other thing that I don't like is that they are really spreading the ball around a lot. I don't think anyone has a target share over 20%. David Njoku's being hurt by Fannin, even though Fannon's playing more of a kind of receiver in a slot, so it's not like eating into him too much, but it's not like we have a lot of targets in this offense. So the only person you feel good about is Quinshon Judkins.
Which is crazy to say. And you're right. I mean, 20% of the targets to Jeudy, 14 to Cedric Tillman. I mean, Bond is in there too. It's just been... yeah, it's been weird. 18% targets per route run for Jerry Jeudy, and then you've got 15 here for Cedric Tillman. It's just, it's not been great. The utilization scores aren't good as well. So it's a downgrade. I wouldn't start. I've seen some questions. I know if you're in a tough spot, especially in those super flex leagues, Adam, with the buys here as well, with 4 teams on a buy, but I would try to avoid it if you can for Dillon Gabriel, but I know some people can't.
Yeah, look, I think most people could.
I hope so.
Yeah, you're talking about Gabriel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe in a super flex
in those
league.
super flex formats.
You know what? That reminds me. I put in a bid for him last night. I didn't check to see if I
look?
got it.
Should we do a live on air?
I mean, I didn't go very high.
You need him though? Like, if you got him, would you start him?
Not this week because I have Carson Wentz, but that could expire soon, right?
Yep, totally could. They were hoping that JJ McCarthy was going to practice this week.
Yeah, it looks like I did not get him. No, oh my God, he went for $55.
What'd you put him at?
Way less than that.
Oh, that's all right. That's
who needs 2 quarterbacks in a super flex league? Oh, great, I got DeMarcado in this one.
Hey, that's good.
So I have DeMarcado and Michael Carter.
DeMarcado in the flex spot. Who says no? It's fine. Everything's going to be fine. Will everything be fine for the Miami Dolphins, though? I think, they're going to be without Tyreek Hill the rest of the year. I tried to look back at a game that he missed, and I think since 2022, there's like one example of the Dolphins playing a game without Tyreek Hill. And I thought that was crazy because I could have sworn that we had a couple instances of that, but I guess not. I will say that Jalen Waddle is someone that went up the rankings, of course, because he's going to be that next man up in this offense. So he's actually top 24 for us going into week 5. And I think, when you look at it in routes with Tyreek Hill, when you see him from 2022 to 2025, 23% target share, 2.08 yards per route run. But without Hill, it still looked pretty good here. So I think mid-range wide receiver too, if you have him, you're starting him.
Yeah, Waddle, basically, maybe there was discussion the first couple weeks, depending on what you had. He's in your lineup now. I mean, this was maybe the hopes for some people when they were drafting Waddle was Tyreek Hill could be traded, and then Waddle could grow into the number 1 role. Obviously, a season-ending injury is not what you predicted, but Waddle definitely is now the number 1 there. So yes, if you have Waddle, you definitely are in a good spot, and you're going to start him every week.
And I think, well, so let me just say this: Xfinity best ceiling of 29 points in PPR format. So again, another thing that you really like to see when you're looking at, where am I going to start these guys? How much do I rank them higher going into the week? Anyone else on this team? Malik Washington, Nick Westbrook Akine, Darren Waller, I mean, for what it's worth, he did come down with those touchdowns last week. So I think that's important. I know that we can talk about the target share and everything else, but he could be someone that people turn to as well.
Yeah, I think it was what 25% of the
Yeah.
snaps about. So when he was on the field, though, they were using him. It's going to grow. It was his first game. He went for some decent money in some leagues,
Did he?
so you just hope that he can stay healthy. But yeah, at least a red zone threat. I mean, we saw it. He made a nice catch at the back of the end zone, and he's that big body guy that they don't have at receiver.
Better hope he doesn't retire again. Go for that music career. He's got some good stuff to sing about
That's
now.
always the worry.
That's always it's always in the back of our minds. We're gonna go to the water cooler, taking your questions here at Valenzuela 17 at Adam Ronis, and going through Survivor picks, news to know here coming up next. It is about that time. Time for the Fantasy Life Water Cooler, where if you're joining us right now, we are going to take as many phone calls as we can. Phone number sitting at 888-963-2682. We're also going to look at KValenzuela17 at Adam Ronis over there on X if you have questions. And we're going to go through every piece of news that you might have missed, which if you just were busy yesterday, Adam, it was a lot. So we'll make sure to go through all the pieces of news that you need to know heading into week 5, heading into this Thursday night football game and everything in between. As always, fantasylife.com. You would have seen this in the newsletter this morning, so always recommend signing up for our 100% free newsletter in your inbox 7 days a week, and then use that promo code SXM20. SXM20 gets you 20% off any tier 1 or tier 2 Fantasy Life Plus subscription. And there is a lot to go through here, Adam. I know we talked about a couple things off the top at the top of the show, but wanted to make sure in case someone wasn't there listening to us then. Brock Purdy, Jauan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, they are all ruled out for this Thursday night football game. 49ers going up against the Rams, and it's going to be interesting to say the least. Mac Jones will be out there. We talked about
Who?
how snow. I didn't do it.
Oh,
But it was close.
I didn't hear what you said. That's why.
No, I know. No, I think you did. I think you're totally fine with the 49ers. It's really just a big question of, who's going to step up in this offense. It feels like this is going to be a good game for the Rams to kind of get through. I think I really like Matthew Stafford. If you need a streamer this week and he is available, to go ahead and pick him up. But again, Pearsall, Jennings, Purdy out means Mac Jones, Christian McCaffrey will be in, Kendrick Bourne, Demarcus Robinson. Maybe we see a little bit more Brian Robinson. It's tough.
Yeah, definitely challenging from the 49ers side, and Rams are in a good spot. You just hope that the game can stay competitive enough that you get enough of the stats you need from your top players. And then I could see Blake Corum a little bit more involved here. Maybe they try and scale back Kyren Williams a little bit. Now, maybe Kyren Williams last week, he had the lowest touches for the season, probably because they were looking ahead to the Thursday game. He had 17 touches last week. Still a lot for a running back, but the lowest of the season. But maybe this is a game where they don't need to overwork him on a short week in a game that they should win.
Kyron's been interesting this season though, because if you look at some of his stats, I mean, compared to last season, he hasn't necessarily been overwhelmingly great. He's been great for fantasy, but just when we compare him, I think it's been interesting to watch. So I think he's still a high end RB2, but on the other hand, I mean, he's slightly underperforming, 13.4 points per game when we compare it to last season, 34 utilization score, which usually averages 14.7 points per game. That's below. He's had 16.7, 20.2 in 2024 and 2023. Not to say that, I mean, look, if you have Kyren Williams, you're still happy about it, but I think it's been, the stretch over the last couple of weeks has been interesting.
Yeah, look, last year he wasn't very efficient. It was massive volume, and the volume is still there, but we are seeing a little bit more Blake Corum. So, again, he was 16 total touchdowns last year. He only has 2 through 4 games. So I think that's what's kind of hurt, is not finding the end zone as much. So I figured Devontae Adams, too, would take away some of those red zone looks near the goal line, that Adams would get some of those targets, and that's what we're seeing so far.
And we're not freaking out or anything like that. I think over the last 3 games, attempt share is sitting at 64%, and then again, averaging 16.3 attempts per game. You'll take that any day of the week. It's just a little bit down from what we saw in 2024 at 19.5. But you brought it. I mean, Devontae Adams is there. We know that they're just going to go through Adams and Puka Nacua. That's who Stafford's going to lock in on. So just something to note there. I see a question here though, and I think it is. I mean, people might be here and have this question more than Ted, but Ted sent this in, Adam, saying for tonight's game, thoughts on considering Demarcus Robinson or Kendrick Bourne for a start here tonight. I wanted to go through. I'm gonna look at our projections. I think Kendrick Bourne is the one that we have the highest for our projections at fantasylife.com, 8.4 fantasy points. His Xfinity best score could be 18.3. For Demarcus Robinson, he's sitting at 7.9 projected fantasy points. Xfinity best score for him, 17.9. What do you think about either of them?
I think if you're desperate, you could use them in deeper leagues, right? Because again, this is a tough week, and they need someone to throw the ball to. So Bourne was out week 1. He's played in the last couple of games. You look at the yards; they haven't been great, but usually Pearsall or Jennings are there. So again, I think if you're desperate, and there are people desperate,
For sure.
I think you can roll with one of them tonight. In deeper formats.
Go start them. Go get a nice dinner. Maybe go for a walk. It's not gonna be pretty the whole time, Adam. But maybe they get you some of those fantasy points. So.
There will be people starting them this week. Like I said,
Yeah,
I had
because
I had
they're-
both of them on my list of players to acquire. They
Mhm.
were at the bottom. Again, this is leagues with 20 roster spots. So Bourne does have a rapport with Mac Jones too. So that kind of helps.
Okay. You're not going to say his name again? You're going to try and get me, but you're not going to do it yourself?
No,
Come on.
you're not
Come
gonna
on.
get
What are
me.
we doing? More news that we talked about through the top. Appreciate you, Ted, sending that in here. But you can go and check out the projections at fantasylife.com. I slight edge over to Kendrick Bourne here for tonight's game. If you have to do that, and we understand that some people are going to have to. Trey Benson is on IR, so he underwent arthroscopic surgery on his meniscus. Is now expected to be sidelined 4 to 6 weeks. We talked about at the top of the show here, Adam. People probably spent good money on Michael Carter. Amari DiMercado is going to be involved. Bam Knight, is he someone, if you're really desperate, would you just pick him up with the potential that maybe you don't start him this weekend, but maybe he does have a bigger role? Because I don't think we'd be shocked. We're already saying 2-way committee, but 2 to 3-way committee could be something that the Arizona Cardinals are looking at going forward. We just don't know.
Yeah, probably not. Again, that's a very deep league where you're kind of desperate and you're just putting him at the end of the bench to see how it plays out. But I know they've said all 3 will be involved, but what does that mean? Knight's getting 2-3 touches, so maybe. I think it's something you want to see first. It's primarily going to be Carter and DiMercado would be my guess.
All right, let's get into more news here that we have not mentioned yet today. It looks like Terry McLaurin was on the field for the start of Wednesday's practice, so that was good news to know. And obviously, same with the Commanders. Jaden Daniels medically cleared to return to practice as well. So I think the expectation is that he's going to eventually log this full practice. It might have happened yesterday. I didn't check yet after missing the past 2 weeks with that knee injury. But it feels like barring any setbacks at practice, he should be playing for them week 5 going up against the Chargers.
Yeah, Daniels was a full participant.
There we go.
McLaurin, we still don't know. We've gotten very little details as well. So he could be out another week.
I figured he would be
Yeah.
by them how they were talking about the injury, getting the second opinion, saying, remember they came out and said he doesn't need surgery, and
Yeah,
we sat
that's
here and
always a
said,
good
wait,
sign.
we said, wait, we didn't even know it was going that far. We didn't even know that was an option. So at least for Jaden Daniels fantasy managers, you are happy about that. Happy to see him back out there. I know I am.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
With everything that's gone on, you already missed 2 weeks from your top quarterback. You need him back out there, and it looks like that's going to happen this week.
KaVontae Turpin, again, he's got a foot injury that could sideline him going into this week. He was not on the field during the open portion of Wednesday's practice, and team website did actually report, that's where I was reading earlier in the show today, that his status for Sunday going up against the Jets up in the air. because of course we can't have nice things there, Adam. Alec Pierce, though, was back to full practice for the Colts. He was sidelined. That was a concussion, right? Yeah, sidelined
Yes.
with a concussion. So he was back out there. And again, Jaden Daniels also back out there saying, I felt good out there, plan to play on Sunday. So we can hope for that. And the other one that I wanted to mention is that, excuse me, Titans did designate Tajay Spears for return from IR. 0-4. They can take all the help they can get. So maybe we see him again. We just have to be a little bit careful with these IR stints, because remember, you can designate them to return. There's still the 21-day practice window that they could be in. So if we're saying this, we still have to watch the practice reports and everything else like that. But yeah, they could probably use Tajay Spears right now.
They could use a lot because it has not gone well for this team. So yeah, the thing with Spears is it seems like he's always injured. It's always something, because there was some hope that going into the year that he would see more touches. Maybe it would be more of a split with him and Pollard, but they went heavy Pollard once again. But the offense has just been brutal. I mean, Pollard's been fine. The yards per carry hasn't been great because of the offense and the offensive line. But he's gotten a lot of volume so far, and they probably want to scale that back a little bit, because we did see last year when that happened, Pollard got banged up towards the end of the season. The disappointing fact, too, is Pollard has not been involved much of the pass game. He has 6 receptions on 9 targets, so that's hurt him, because we know the touchdowns are not going to be high.
No, they're not. They are frustrated. You think Callahan's the first to go? We don't want people to lose their
Yeah,
jobs.
it feels like that at this point. I know.
Feels like they're getting a little bit, they can't keep waiting for this team to turn around.
Yeah, it definitely feels that we're headed in that direction.
Yeah, not good. And Cam Ward was pissed last week, which I would be too. So we've got good and bad injury news. But again, just be careful when you see, if you see players, designated to return or have had their 21-day practice window open. Sometimes with that 21 days, they could take the full thing. A la, who was that? Jonathan Brooks last season. He's like, he's going to come back eventually. He took
the whole thing for sure and more.
Yes, yikes. Continuing on here again, let me throw out that phone number for the phone calls here, 888-963-2682, or press that new call-in button on the Sirius XM app. Also at Valenzuela17, at Adam Ronis over there on X. You want to go through some start sits really quick here before I continue on with the news? This is a good question from Joe. Just talking about Chase Brown. For both DeMercado and Benson rest of season, is that a good trade offer? I don't necessarily like to trade for 2 players on the same team. Trey Benson, we just said, was put on IR. We know Amari DeMercado is going to get hopefully a good amount of work now that that's done, and James Conner is also done for the season. But I've seen a lot of Chase Brown questions at him because he has been so disappointing, and I can see people trying to move him, but it's really hard to get anything back from him, I should say, especially at the price that you got him. His ADP, we know he's probably not going to pay that off, but it's tough. I don't usually like trading for 2 players on the same team, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I mean, also, I get it. It has been brutal for Chase Brown, and I have him in one league because I was like, well, I need to get him in at least one league, so let me take him, and I wish I could take that one back now. But and that was in a league where Malik Neighbors was my first round pick. So you can imagine how that's going.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm trying. But yeah, I wouldn't make that deal.
Yeah.
Look, we've talked about it. It looks really bad for the Bengals right now, but it was Minnesota and Denver, 2 really good defenses. And it might not get better this week. It might not get better next week against Green Bay. But after that, there is some clouds and the sun is coming out behind it. I could see it just a little bit. So I wouldn't make that deal.
3 weeks from now, we'll say nice things about the
Cincinnati
Bengals.
It's possible.
Maybe we can mark the date on our calendars here to say nice things. But appreciate you messaging in there, Joe. Let's Larry here as well. Larry in SoCal, by the way. Shout out to everyone out here in California. But looks like Jordan Mason or J.K. Dobbins 1-point PPR this week. I think that's a good question. Let me check my rankings.
Yeah, well, Mason has that tough matchup against Cleveland.
Yeah, it's.
And
they don't give up. They don't give up a lot.
Philly. No, they don't give up anything. I think I would go with Dobbins.
Yeah,
it's close though.
Tough.
Philly's been pretty good against the run too, but they've also. Kyra Williams did have 94 against them. Bucky had 15 for 63, but 5 catches for 102.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult. I would go, but the Broncos play the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
That's that game this week. Yeah, I have Dobbins just a little bit ahead. So you can go check out our rankings at fantasylife.com if you want to keep seeing those. One more thing, a couple more. Let me just go rapid fire here. AJ Brown did apologize for his Sunday tweet, but he also, he just said, "Hey, sorry about that," but also he said, "I want to start off by saying Sunday's game, I let my frustrations boil over. I didn't speak to the media. I had a chance to correct my frustrations. I continued to let it boil over. That's on me. I take full accountability." And he said he has open communication with everyone in the organization. You think it's a squeaky wheel game? You think we get a? I need a squeaky wheel game from
The
AJ
only
Brown.
problem is he should
I
see
know
a
he
lot of
gets
Patrick Surtain,
Patrick.
right?
I know. Yes, but I would like to believe that at some point we get another big AJ Brown game.
I mean, we will. It's just that the problem is that these floor games are insane how low they are. It's so frustrating. So, look, I have AJ Brown, I think, in 2 leagues. We actually have them together in our charity league. And, yeah, I mean, 2 for 7, 1 for 8, 5 for 27. Like, you never expect that type of floor game from an elite receiver like AJ Brown, but this passing offense is abysmal right now. So, what you have to hope is what happened against the Rams, that they fall behind. Can they fall behind in this game? They can, right?
Yeah.
So that's what you hope. If you have any of the receivers or you're invested in any of the passing game for Philadelphia, you need to see them fall behind where they're forced to pass. Now, I don't think we're going to see many scenarios where it's 26-7 like it was against the Rams, but Broncos are coming off a short week after playing Monday night and have to go on the road to the East Coast at Philly. So not the best spot, but you hope that they can take the lead and force Philly to pass. So
please, we need it
it's
really
because
bad.
again, they were trying to get the ball to AJ Brown. Now some of those targets weren't even
But
targets.
only I talked with Dwayne about this. Two of those targets were catchable.
Yeah, I know. That's what's
It's
misleading sometimes when you look
exactly.
at how many targets a player gets. Because yeah, there were a few of them where you're like, he had no shot at that ball.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's you just got to be careful with some things like you just said. But yeah, Patrick Surtain, I mean, he's a strong bet obviously to shadow Brown this week, and we know he's one of the best, if not the best in the NFL. And you look at, I mean, he was with Ridley, Pittman Jr., Quentin Johnston, Jamar Chase. Out of those 4 receivers, they've averaged 9.2 fantasy points, and
And
only
mostly it was Quentin Johnston.
and that's the funny enough, only Quentin Johnston cleared 8. I mean, he had 14.3. That's how we are talking about Quentin Johnston this season is crazy and mind blowing to me. But you got to give him his flowers for what he's been able to do so far this season. All right, let's continue on here. I see some phone calls, so we're going to start going over there. Let's start off with Chris in Virginia. Chris, what do you got for us?
Hey guys, I have Pacheco, and I'm really light this
My
week.
condolences.
My running back situation is really light for me. Is it possible? Is it worth me trying to go on the waiver wire and pick up Kendall Miller potentially, who might have a better game than Pacheco? Should I try that move?
I mean, I would pick up Kendra Miller just for I mean, we laid out these reasons right here at him last week. He's improved his role over the last 3 games. His attempt share has gone up 19%, 28%, 33%. Saints are a dumpster fire on offense. We kind of already know that. You're almost trying to play the long game with Kendra Miller if Kamara does get traded, but he is still the RB2. Even if Kamara doesn't get traded, we've seen these injuries. We never want them to happen, but if he were to go down, even though this is just a dumpster fire, not great offense, he would step into a bigger role. I don't know. Would you flex him this week though? That's where it gets tough.
So I think I do have one league where I might have to start him because, again, that's how bad this situation is. Look, Miller is still. We're looking at last week's game where he got double-digit carries and scored a touchdown. But if you look at the other games, just not heavily involved. 5 to 7 carries, not involved in a passing game. So that's more of a long-term stash. I don't think we're at the point where we're like, yeah, let's get Miller in our lineup. This is still a bad offense that's not generating a lot of points. They are playing at a fast pace. And they have been competitive in some of their games outside of the Seattle game. They've actually, I mean, they kept it a game with Buffalo, but it's still more of a stash on the bench instead of, I'm going to play the guy this week. Look, Pacheco, I don't understand why they're not trying to at least give him the ball a little more. I know he had a bad drop last week, but he's averaging like the last couple games, I think 5 yards per carry. He did in the last game. He was 7 for 35, then 10 for 45 against the Giants. So the last 2 games, but they just don't give him volume. They like Kareem Hunt, and there's talk about Brashard Smith getting more involved. So trust me, I have Pacheco in a league, and I have to start him, and it feels awful. It's like the worst feeling in the world when you see Pacheco in your lineup and you click submit.
It's bad. I still, if you can, not by dropping Pacheco, but if you can, I would still pick up Kendra Miller just in case. But you can't start him this week ahead, unfortunately. The Jags have allowed, though, the third fewest rushing yards to running backs this year. Fun fact.
They actually might be the highest scoring fantasy defense. Wow. They forced at least 3 turnovers in every game, which is kind of crazy.
Wow, they've only allowed 2 runs of 10+ yards all year. That's interesting. All right. I appreciate your call, Chris. Let's go out to Zach in Los Angeles. Zach, what do you got for us?
Hey, guys. Looking to move probably Derrick Henry. I'm stacked in the running backs. McConkey's my Y1 right now. So I have was offered Derrick Henry and McConkey for Lamb and Kittle, or do I go after someone like a Josh Allen? I also got Rashee Rice, so he'll become my Y1 once he comes back.
Who's Zach? Who's your quarterback right now?
Fields.
Oh, Justin Fields. Okay. So the thing here is trade Henry for what? I mean, listen, if you can get, so CeeDee Lamb, the timeline, I mean, he's not on IR, Adam, so we do expect him to come back. That's the good thing. And Zach already has Rashee Rice. We like Kittle as well. I mean, Kittle's just one where we said we need him back in the worst way, but Quinshon Judkins has been overperforming as well. But if you're already stacked at running back, like Zach said, then maybe you don't need Judkins. Where would you go here? Or Josh Allen, but I don't think he needs him.
Yeah, I thought I heard Henry and McConkey for Lamb and Kittle.
Henry and McConkey, yeah.
Yeah. If you're 4-0, I hate trading for injured players because there could be setbacks. Like, we know Kittle is eligible to return next week. That doesn't mean he is. I haven't heard if they said for sure. So he has a history of getting banged up. It is a hamstring issue that could pop up at any time. If I was 4-0, I don't know if I would even. I guess I could see doing it. But again, with Lamb, too, we don't know if he'll be back next week. Mm-hmm. Is it the week after? I did see him moving on the field pretty well. That doesn't mean anything, though. He's still got a cut and everything. So,
wait, Zach, if you're still on the line, who's your tight end right now?
I got Hunter Henry.
Oh, okay.
What's your record? Are you 4-0?
3-1.
3-1? Okay. I mean, it's a little bit of
I got Taylor.
Uh-huh.
I'm deep in. I got Taylor, Henry, Hampton, Junkins.
Wow.
And then I also have White and DeMarcado.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you don't need any. I might.
I guess you
could
risk
do that. It?
I mean, you are taking a little bit of risk, but you're building for the long run. So even if you were to lose this week and next week, you're getting Rice back. You could have Lamb, Kittle. So yeah, I could see making the deal, right? Because McConkey, we think it could get better, but he's not going to return to value.
He's a wide receiver 3 on his own team.
Well, I mean, he'll have some better games, I think,
than
the weeks ahead, but it's not going to be where you drafted him. So, yeah, usually I'm like trading for 2 injured players. I would say no, but seeing your team context and you have the ability to do it, I think you can make it.
Oh, keep us updated, Zach. I wanna know how that ends up. But appreciate you calling in. Same with you, Chris. And we're gonna continue taking phone calls here. We're going through a cloaked identity, Adam. I've got some names for you. See if you can figure out who they are. We'll see if we're starting or sitting them going into week 5 here. Coming up next. Oh, appreciate everyone hanging out with us here today on this Thursday, getting you ready for Thursday Night Football, getting you ready for Week 5 in the NFL, answering as many questions as we can as well at Valenzuela 17, at Adam Ronis over there on X. If you have questions for us, just send them in and we'll try and get there. We're going to do Cloaked Identity, Adam, where if people do not know, we are going through some start-sit players here, but I'm only giving you their stats from maybe the last couple of weeks. Some of them are easier today. Some of them might be a little bit more difficult, but this is, again, Cloaked Identity, brought to you by Cloaked, your all-in-one solution for privacy, safety, and security. You ready to go?
Yes.
I had a dream last night that I just gave you all the names when I was trying to tell you their stats. So I'm going to try to not do that. But sometimes it does get difficult. So, okay, this is a wide receiver. He is averaging the 11th most fantasy points with 16.3 per game, but his utilization score ranks is 68, which ranks 29th. So you might look at him as maybe an overperformer and an opportunity to sell high. Historically, he's averaged 13.1 points, which only 2% managed to finish in the top 12 with that. It might be a good place, borderline wide receiver 2 here. But if you sell him, maybe it could be kind of good. This one's really difficult, by the way.
Yeah,
Really
because
hard. Let me say this. Scheme is a good fit. Their quarterback is coming back. And maybe the other wide receiver 1 is not going to be there.
Okay. I think
it.
that gave it to me, but I'm not sure because...
No, you know it.
Yeah, because this guy has never been a big fantasy guy outside of 1 year. Because you said 13.
Yeah, because I said so.
And then the receiver,
his historical comps have averaged 13.1 points.
Okay.
But right now he has the 11th most fantasy points, 16.3 per game. Utilization score of 68, which ranks 29th. But I'm just saying maybe an overperformer right now.
Well, you said his quarterback's coming back and the other guy's hurt, so that would lead me to believe Deebo Samuel.
Yes.
Okay.
Ding, ding, ding. There we go. Deebo Samuel. I'm just really curious about Deebo Samuel going into this week because, again, I saw a ton of questions on Deebo about buy, sell, hold. I think there was also an article at fantasylife.com that everyone should go and check out because that is always a really good one to read. But Deebo Samuel this week and just kind of our expectations and what we've seen through him week in and week out, he's a start for you because you get Jaden Daniels back. Terry McLaurin might not be out there, but what are your expectations?
Yeah, if you have him, you're definitely starting this week. Yeah. I don't even think there's much debate about it because I'm not expecting Terry McLaurin to return. So, yeah, this is the ideal situation for Deebo. We were wondering how they were going to utilize him. What kind of shape was he going to be in? Would he be motivated to be here? And he's had at least 6 receptions in 3 of the last 4 games. So,
yeah,
he's starting.
I like it. You trying to sell him right now or no? Just keep him.
Depends what I
it always depends on what you get back.
But I'd be open to selling.
The Chargers too. The ceiling's pretty high. They're giving up the 4th most yards to slot receivers, 5th most yards after the catch to receivers this season as well. So I think that's a strong play. And Jaden Daniels, we're hoping it looks like he should be good to go. He said he expects to play. So we just need no setbacks during practice this week, which would be lovely. Wouldn't that be lovely? All right, you want another?
Yes.
Yeah, you have to actually. You have no choice. You are doing
no, it wouldn't have mattered.
I would have said, okay, well, here's another one. Okay, this is a tight end. He has had an average route participation of 74%, 14% target share over the first 3 games. In week 4, though, his routes dropped. You saw it go to 57%, which we talked about with the return of a tight end, but he posted a season best 28% target share, 35% targets per route run, and he is right now a steady low end tight end 1.
So it dropped with the return of a tight end?
Dropped with the return, but he had a good week. It dropped with the return. But he still had a good week. You know it. There's only one tight end that's really returned to a team.
Oh, wait. He just returned?
The second tight end just returned.
The second tight end just returned.
You know it.
I do?
You do. We've said maybe you should stash him just in case because this older tight end might be done.
Oh.
Yes.
Isaiah Likely?
Yeah, but it's Mark Andrews.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but Mark Andrews is the guy. See, you got that one. Yeah, it did drop. His routes, in week 4, the routes dropped to 57% with Likely, but he had the season best 28% target share. It was crazy.
Yeah, 7 for 30.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Lamar Jackson being out is a problem. Yeah, Mark Andrews is a tough one at this point, right? Everyone was ready to give up. Everyone was ready to give up on him again after the first 2 weeks. Then he has a huge game, 27.1 in PPR with the 2 touchdowns, and then the offense fell apart. So, yeah, I don't think he's a must start at this point.
I don't either. I have him at tight end 13 this week. Which again puts him in the range of like maybe you could go there, but I don't know, with all of the changes that they have going into this weekend, I'm not loving it. Let's just say that.
Yeah, look, tight end's a tough position, so you probably have to put him right around 12. So if you have him, you're probably starting him unless you were able to get someone like maybe you have a Hunter Henry that you used, or Jake Ferguson. I mean, I could see certain teams when Andrews Ferguson. I mean, Ferguson is clearly the starter there. You can make a case for Hunter Henry over him as well, and maybe even Dalton Kincaid. So there are probably scenarios where maybe if you grab 2 tight ends, your backup might be better than Andrews right now.
I want to do one more, but it's not going to be cloaked identity, because it's just that some of these stats are just they're just a little bit weird, because it's still that 3-way committee for the Commanders. But I did want to ask you in this segment about Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt or just where we stand with all of them. I mean, because Chris Rodriguez led the Commanders backfield 35% of the snaps played in week 4. He had that long, I think it was 48, 50 yards, 50-yard rush in that game as well. But, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt led the Commanders with touches. So it's one of these things where it's probably just going to continue to be gross, right? I'm looking at our rankings right now. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is consensus RB 32. Chris Rodriguez comes in next at RB 43, and then it's Jeremy McNichols at 46 over there. But still, not what you have wanted to see if you were a Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt manager. We haven't talked about him in a while.
No, you wanted to see more, and you're hoping that the role will grow, but it's not what we've seen so far. Some of the underlying numbers are actually pretty good for him. So I think if you have him, you're hoping that eventually they give him a little bit more. I know I have him in, I think, 2 leagues. I haven't started him lately. And obviously with the bye weeks coming up and the injuries, maybe I might have to at some point. But yeah, you're not happy with the way they're deploying these 3 backs right now.
Running back by committee, our worst fear in any backfield. Which is so surprising, because when they moved on from Robinson, right? The idea was that, okay, they've seen enough with Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, with Bill, that okay, he's going to lead in everything. And I still, maybe that does come true, but right now you're still talking about a running back by committee, because Krosky-Merritt, Rodriguez, and McNichols 20, 19 offensive snaps, respectively, when you're looking at week 4. I don't know. It's just gross. You can't get a lot of value out of it.
Did you see the note from Dan Graziano of ESPN?
Oh, no. What did he say?
He had said that they're happy with the committee right now, but they do view Krosky-Merritt as the most capable of the 3 to emerge as an all-around threat out of the backfield once he gains more experience. So he expects his role to increase. And he says, if you have him on your fantasy roster, hold on, because there's a chance he could be the lead back over the second half of the season.
Let's go. Can we manifest that? We need something good out of this backfield. This is more of a tough, because it's Washington. They're taking on the Chargers, right? Is that what we said?
Yes.
In this game this week? Yeah, that's definitely a tougher matchup when you're just looking at matchups. Again, if you have them, you're probably going to start them. But this Chargers defense ranks 8th in points allowed on planned rush plays, according to The Athletic. So, yeah. But hopefully, wow, who said that? Dan Graziano?
Dan Graziano, yeah.
I like that. That's a good article that comes out every week. Did you get that from the ESPN article?
Yes.
From him? Nice. Love that. Love that. All right, that was Cloaked Identity here, presented by Cloaked. Again, it's I like this segment because I try and get you with some of them. This one was hard this week because all the stats I got from Dwayne, so it was a lot of utilization. I needed some more hints this week. I know. Well, it was a lot of utilization report stuff, so I'll make it easier. I'll do birthday. Oh, whose birthday is on Sunday?
On Sunday, yes. I don't know. You did say Travis Kelce. You said Travis Kelce was. Oh, wait. Okay, yeah. Kelsey's birthday was Sunday, but he's playing Monday, which means so hangover. Even though it's a Monday night game.
That's a professional.
I mean, really, is this finally what get Kelce going? His birthday.
His birthday and the launch of the album, right? The new album from.
I mean, his stats
have
sucked so far.
He's been so.
Actually, where does he? Because tight end is so crazy. I want to.
Yeah, where does he rank?
In points per game, he is 14th.
Okay, that makes I mean,
or 13th. Darren Waller's actually 1, but that's one
Okay,
game.
I
So I'll
don't
say
count. Yeah, I don't
13th
count
then.
Darren Waller. We can't do this yet. I can't.
He leads the
be
position
going,
right now,
Don't
17.7.
do this to me. Don't do it right now. That's crazy. Where's Kyle Pitts at?
He is at 11. That seems
Okay, that's not.
how is he 11? It feels like he should be higher. But he's at 12.9, 7.7, 7.9, 18. That's good.
Yeah, it
for a
hasn't
state of tight
been
end.
bad. Yeah, for the state of time. Because who was in there?
Actually,
yesterday
10.
that
Kittle is included there. He played one game. So I got to take Kittle and Waller out since they play one game. So Pitts is 10.
Who's won? Is it Hunter Henry? No.
Nope.
But he's top 5.
Yeah,
Okay.
he-
Come
on.
Jake Ferguson?
Yes.
There we go. I was
I
like,
can't
wait, didn't
believe
know
it. I have
this.
like no Ferguson. I was like, I've always
Wow,
liked
he's on
him.
your team.
I can't believe I don't have him this year.
I actually have a.
I had him a lot
Yeah.
last year.
You even sang his
I
praises.
did say,
this
yeah, he was a
offseason.
great tight end
what are you
too.
doing?
And I don't
What are
have
you
him.
doing?
Brutal. Because
We
like
gotta
that's
stop doing
if
it.
you have Ferguson now, like that's a home run because you got
For
him.
sure.
You got him at a good price.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. Jake
He was
Ferguson
probably
right
what
now.
15th, 16th tight end off the board, depending on the league you drafted in. So, yeah, that's how you win fantasy championships.
He
You get
gets-
that tight
I
end
mean,
that late.
He's reached 16 plus fantasy points in 3 straight games, and that continues with CeeDee Lamb out. He's just
Yeah,
just
and
all looks good.
Even when Lamb returns, it could be there again. If this offense is the defense is gonna be so bad that the offense is forced to put up points because Lamb got injured in the late in the Giants game, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so he had 12 targets in that one.
Mhm.
No,
I
wait.
just-
Lamb got hurt in the Bears
What?
game, right? And he
Hang
tried to
on,
come back.
hang
It
on.
was the Bears game. Yeah, it was the Bears game.
Because
so
he
Lamb
came back for that one play.
Yeah, it was the
didn't look
Bears
good.
game. So
Okay.
in week 2 against the Giants, now that the game did go overtime, Ferguson had 12 targets in that game. Lamb was there, but that was also an overtime game. But it looks like Dallas is going to play overtime almost every week.
I was gonna say, I mean, the Cowboys are such a pass-heavy offense that
Yeah.
even with the return of CeeDee Lamb and with Pickens there, yes, it could be a challenge to keep that up, but they have to go through the air so much that right now you're just enjoying it, but it does look really good for Jake Ferguson going into not only this week, but we'll see how. I haven't seen an update on CeeDee Lamb either, but however long he's out, he's going to continue being one of the top tight ends that we recommend. Speaking of matchup highlights and lowlights here, we're going to go through guys that you might be starting, talk about their matchups that they're going up against in week 5. I want to bring up Chris Godwin again, saw some questions on him. Patrick Mahomes going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Our expectations with Xavier Worthy. We're going to be doing all of that here coming up next. Let's be real, you're here to win a fantasy championship, and guess what? You're not going to win playing it safe. You've got to go hard, and no one understands that better than Mike's Hard Lemonade. So to succeed in fantasy football, we like to pretend that we know everything, but sometimes you got to take bold risks, like reaching for that rookie. You have to make the blockbuster trade or spend all of your money on a breakout player, or maybe someone like Michael Carter. We can always hope, guys, and yes, your league mates might roast you in the group chat. Adam Ronis might roast you, but legends do not play scared. They go hard, just like Mike's Hard Lemonade. So go crack open a cold Mike's, kick back for a second, and remember, nobody makes lemonade like Mike's. Find Mike's nearest you at www.mikeshard.com. Mike's is hard, so is prison. Don't drive drunk. Premium malt beverage with flavors. All registered trademarks used under license by Mike's Hard Lemonade Co., Chicago, Illinois. Oh, we are right here. Fantasy Life. Got our coffee ready to go. Getting ready for lunchtime, Adam? Breakfast? I'm hungry. I'm like, it's that
I
point in the
guess
day where
I
I'm
don't eat
kinda hungry.
breakfast.
I know, but don't you get hungry?
Oh, yeah.
Like after this show is done?
I do. Today I am.
It's too early for me. I don't eat breakfast before this either because it's just too early, you know?
Yeah, I'm not the type of person that eats immediately when I get up. Although I notice I do that when I'm away,
Like
or
on vacation?
or
Yeah.
away for work because I was eating a
Oh,
little bit more often in the morning when we were in New
Huh.
Orleans.
That's because the food was so good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was so fun. Okay, what? I have no way to get through.
You're
I'm
distracted
just
by
thinking,
food.
I'm thinking about how hungry I am. I'm also thinking about Chris Godwin. That's what I'm thinking about as well. Chris Godwin is definitely a week 5 upgrade. And again, if you're on the phone lines here, just stay put for a second. We're definitely going to get to you. But I just wanted to mention Chris Godwin here because I was personally more skeptical of his return. Not that we know that he is a talented player, but it's always an older injured player coming back, that I expected him to be ramped up slowly here. And that really wasn't the case in this game. He had some, in terms of production, right? 3 receptions for 26 yards, I believe. But he was getting the targets and everything else like that. So I kind of liked it. I just want to say that I actually upgraded him in my rankings this week, which I didn't expect to.
Yeah, I was stunned at how much he played, the usage, how many targets in his first game back. So I know they kind of need him right now with Mike Evans out, but yes, the results weren't there. Just 3 catches, 26 yards. He also had a drop, but again, I think it's kind of rust. Missed a lot of time and coming off this injury, so I think this was an encouraging sign, even though the stat line did not show it. But I do think that you're feeling better, because I was a little worried about him going into the season when we were never getting any positive news, and it was always a setback in the second surgery. So the fact that he is out there and he played so much, I think, is an encouraging sign.
Yeah, I still have concerns about what he'll do when Mike Evans returns, but it looks like he's likely to miss at least 1 more game, if not maybe 2. So we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, shout out to Chris Godwin. Let's go to the phone lines here really quick. I know there's more start-sit questions to get to. Let's go out to Alan in Green Bay. Alan, what do you got for us?
Hi, thanks for taking my call. Yeah, my Dynasty PPR league has just been decimated with injuries. Mm-hmm. And is it crazy for – I need 2 flex. Is it crazy for me to want to start Woody Marks and DeMarcado over, say, Diggs, Hollywood Brown, Justice Hill, or Mims?
Well, I don't think it's crazy for Woody Marks, right, Adam? Because Woody Marks has been it's just looked pretty good. He's really taken over that backfield. So I would say Woody Marks, and then I would actually – I
would
like
not start DeMarcado over Diggs.
I would start Diggs. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I like
finally
Diggs in this one.
We've seen the snaps increase. He had a big game last week, and it's a revenge game against Buffalo.
There we go.
No, but
narrative games. Come on.
I think you have to be encouraged what you saw.
Yeah.
Look, it's not a surprise. The fact that Diggs was out there since day one, we were hearing good things. We were seeing the video. But last week was finally the game, and they need him. As well as Drake May has played, he's not gotten much from the run game. He hasn't gotten much from his receivers. So Diggs, coming off that 6 for 101, he looks to be the go-to guy there. So I'm playing him.
Yeah, I like that. Thanks for calling in, Alan. But Woody Marks, Stephon Diggs, I think is the same way I would go. So appreciate you. We're going to continue on breaking down this Thursday night football game, going through more of your questions over there on X. We're going to do all of that coming up next. This is also an Adam song. Everyone knows that.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it is.
Why? Based on what?
Why not? Just your constant love of listening to Taylor Swift's music.
Yeah, my favorite.
Appreciate everyone hanging out with us here today. I'd
rather start her, though, than Kelsey.
Hey, yeah, Kelsey's been bad. Birthday game, though. Maybe it changes.
Well, didn't he say on the big stage? Didn't he say he doesn't play well on his birthday?
Oh.
That's what?
What? He said that?
Right? What were you talking about this earlier?
Yeah.
I forgot who brought it up. Someone brought it up.
I think someone. Maybe Tim. Producer Tim, maybe.
No, I don't think it was Tim.
What? Well, it wasn't me.
It wasn't me either.
Don't put that on me. I'm like, wait, I'm not. I definitely did not say that. I don't know. What are we talking about? He said on New Heights that they aren't his best game.
Okay.
The podcast.
Well,
okay, Brian.
The fact that he acknowledged that and knows that's not a good sign. Right?
No, it's not. I love the birthday narratives, and it's obviously not going to be good there. So just a little bit of news here. Something that we knew was probably coming, but Braylon Allen, it has been placed on IR. So he's likely going to be out actually longer than those 4 weeks. The Jets have also signed running back Khalil Herbert. So just something to note there. Thursday Night Football, Adam, I want to ask what your expectations are, but it's really more for this 49ers offense. There's been some questions about, who to start. I see one here saying if Bucky might not play, I'm looking at a desperate flex play here between Pierce or Bourne. But we've actually, Bourne.
Damian Pierce?
Yeah, Damian.
No, it's Bourne then.
Yeah.
Look, Mac Jones has been solid, right? So that's really not the concern. He just doesn't have a lot of skill. Position players, McCaffrey, he's going to get a ton of touches. He's really had a tough time running the ball, though, this year. 3.3 yards per carry. So they've been loading up the defensive fronts to try and stop him. We know, though, that he's going to get heavily involved in the passing game. But, yeah, look, Bourne and DeMarcus Robinson are kind of desperation plays. We are in a desperation week with all 4 teams on bye and all these injuries. So, yeah, deeper formats, you might have to start one of those guys. And that was just a scenario. Yeah, you're going to start Bourne over Dameon Pierce.
Yeah. And, this game again, I think San Francisco 49ers, again, playing against the Los Angeles Rams. I like Matthew Stafford in this one as well. I hope that really lives up to expectations, because if I've seen people need to pick him up off the waiver wire because of all the injuries. So again, he's coming off that 375-yard, 3-touchdown game, gave you 27.4 fantasy points. Don't think we can expect that week in and week out, but you look at just how good Puka Nakua's looked in this, Devontae Adams as well. So I think he's occasionally going to be worth streaming consideration, just kind of like the conversation we just had about Jared Goff a few segments ago. So in this situation, if you need someone, the 49ers defense has allowed the 5th fewest yards and fantasy points to quarterbacks. I know that, but I still think if you're in a tough spot, he is one of those low-end QB2s.
Yeah, I think the addition of Devontae Adams has really helped the red zone. He's got a touchdown in 3 straight games, and 9 of the 10 end zone targets so far have been to Devontae Adams.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Remember, Bosa's out for the season too, so they might not get a lot of pressure on him. They didn't have a good pressure rate last week against Jacksonville, so he should have a clean pocket, Stafford.
And the Rams were getting healthier up front too. So they are starting to bring some good pressure to the opposing passing game. So I like it. Who are you taking tonight?
I mean, obviously the Rams. I think it's a pretty easy call. We'd be surprised if San Francisco won.
Come on.
Yeah, not going to happen. I'm trying to stay alive in all my entries.
All right, whatever. Enjoy the game tonight, everyone. We will be back with you same time here tomorrow.